Sister Joanne. How you doing, Sister Flo? Come on in, come on in. The rest of my brothers and sisters out there, come on in, come on in. Welcome to a new week, my brothers. Welcome to a new week, my sisters. Come on in to get some of this content tonight. We're going to get into the no contact rule. We're about to get into it shortly. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope you brothers and sisters had a good weekend. I know that I have. And I hope that you all going to go into a new work week if you work. But hopefully the Lord give you another day to live. I'm anticipating a new week coming up, my brothers and sisters, through the Lord. Come on in, come on in. I'm feeling so good, my brothers and sisters, because I'm here with you this evening. And I'm going to keep you for a short period of time. If you have anything else you need to do, you're not going to be on here long tonight. I'm going to jump right into it shortly. How you doing, Mother dear? How you doing? How you doing? Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sister. We're about to get to it. In a few seconds, we're going to let a few more people come in, and then we're going to jump into it. We're about to get into it. Hold on. Thank you so much for giving me your time, my brothers. Thank you so much for giving me my time, your time, my sisters, by the way. We're about to get into it. We're going to let a few more people come in, and we are going to jump into this content tonight. My brothers and sisters, go ahead and get your bag of popcorn, get your soda, courtesy of Sister Flo Harvey Martin. You see it down there? Go ahead and grab your bag of popcorn and some soda. And we're about to get into this content tonight. For those of you that hey, how you doing? I see Sister Velman popping up there. How you doing, brothers? How you doing, sisters, again? Welcome to a new week. I'm your brother, Tony Toomer. How you doing, my sister, Renee? We're going to jump on this content. I'm not going to keep you long because I know some of you all, you probably got a favorite show coming on tonight. You want to go ahead and be with your family or your friend before this new work week. So we are going to jump into it. As you know, for those of you that it might be your first time viewing this particular show, my name is Tony M. Toomer, and I'm here to talk to you about relationships. I talk about relationship pertaining to that of a man and a woman from a biblical perspective. When I say a man and a woman from a biblical perspective, you can look at it from the book of Genesis. God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. And then he also had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. He brought them two together. And when Adam seen the woman in the presence of God, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call her woman because she came from man. If you don't believe in the concept of what God's word said between a man and a woman, that's how God started up. You can do whatever you want to do because you got what is called free will, my brothers and sisters. So you can do your thing. But as far as me and this content that I talk about men and women in a relationship. With that said, tonight's topic is the no contact rule. It works 100% of the time if you have value. Again, the no contact rule 100% of the time if you know your value. Do you know your value, my brother and sister? Remember, tonight's show is, and get it in your head, no contact rule works 100%, not 98, not 99, but 100% of the time if you know your value. And that's the key thing, my brother. That's the key thing, my sister. You have value. Now, we're about to get into it, but before we get into it, when it comes to no contact, and if you have problems in a relationship with a man or a woman, you need to keep this thing in mind first and foremost. Is it recorded in God's word from 1 Peter chapter 5:7? It said, let all your worries. No, it's not all your worries, but it said, leave all your worries with him. That's being the Lord, because he cares for you. Again, at 1 Peter chapter 5:7. Leave all your worries with him because he cares for you. Now, my brother and sister, when it comes to relationship, remember the first relationship that you should have is with the Lord. If you don't have no relationship with the Lord and you experience a relationship, brother, with a sister, or sister, you experience a relationship with a man that could crush you, you need some kind of cushion. And that cushion is going to be the Lord. So that's why you always need a relationship with the Lord before you have a relationship with anyone. Because if you don't, you're going to get some people coming your way. You're not going to have that type of wisdom that you need, that type of knowledge, understanding, or discernment when the wrong type of people come into your life and suck the life out of you, and that's going to devastate you. So that's why you need to understand you got a friend with the Lord. Leave all your words with him because he cares for you. Now, I'm going to talk about no contact. But keep in mind, my brother and sister, when I talk about no contact, keep this in mind. I'm about to talk to you and tell you about some things, how you handle the no contact and when you should utilize it. Now, no contact does not mean you're playing mind games, okay? You're not into playing mind games with anyone that you were in a relationship with or that you're currently in a relationship with. But you still got to understand, my brother, and you still got to understand, my sister, that you have what is called value. How you doing, Sister Monica? You have what is called value. And if you have value, you need to recognize, my brother and sister, that the world does not revolve around no one man, and it does not revolve around no one woman. You got to keep this in mind, have your relationship with the Lord, and keep in mind that the world does not revolve around a human man or a human woman. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this, my brother and sister, before I get really into it. How shall I say this? When it comes to no contact, I love my wife. I love my wife. But if my wife decides to go and I did not do anything to provoke her to go, this strategy also applies to me. If my wife decides tomorrow that she wants to leave, I love my wife and she loves me. But if she decides out of the blue that one day she wants to go in another direction, when she goes, the no contact rule applies to me too. You know why? Because I know that I have value. And if I leave her, I'm thinking that she'll do the same thing because she knows that she has value. You understand? I know that the world does not revolve around my wife. She knows that the world does not revolve around me. And that's why it's very important to have a relationship with the Lord. Now, no contact. What does no contact mean? How you doing, Sister Sharon? No contact means simply do not initiate any form of communication. That's the basic part of what no contact means. Simply do not initiate any form of communication. Now, value. And this could apply to you, brother, you, sister. Now, what does value mean? Value has to do with how much something is worth, either in terms of cash or importance. For the lesson tonight, value, I'm going to take the cash out. Value has to do with how much something is worth or important. That means you, my brother, or you, my sister, you are important. Now, when it comes to the no contact rules, some people like to play mind games. Now, what does mind games mean? Mind games mean action or statement intended to undermine or mislead others or someone else, often to gain advantage for oneself, or to say it differently, is to manipulate and use reverse psychology. So I know you, brother and sister, you have heard of reverse psychology. You're playing games with people. Most of the time, my brother and sister, when it comes to no contact, and when a man decides to leave you, sister, or brother, when a woman decides to leave you, or do something to irritate your mind and your emotion or physical, a lot of time it's about power. It's about power and it's about mind game. Let me tell you something, my brother, sister. Most of the time, when it comes to non-contact or no contact, if a person decides to leave you, let me tell you, it's a power game a lot of the time, especially if you have not done nothing in a relationship. Keep in mind, you haven't done nothing in a relationship. You're not the victim, but you're the innocent party. Now, most of the time, people try to exercise power over you, and it's a mental thing, power, and they hope that you don't see what they're doing. Now, most people want you to run after them. Get this in mind, my brother and sister. If a man leave you, sister, a brother, if a woman leave you, he or she, according to a natural human response, that man or woman looking for you to run after them because it's a game to some people. And they will wait you out just to see where you reach out to them. And this is what we're going to get into, why you should not contact a person. Because if a man or a woman is anticipating for you to run after him or her, what do I mean by that? I mean blowing up his or her telephone or texting them or coming by their house or apartment, whatever. Most of the time, they are anticipating on you reaching out some kind of way, but you're not going to give them that. You understand? You're not going to run after no man, sister. And brother, you're not going to run after no woman because it's a power play most of the time. People have a tendency for you to run after him or her. If you initiate the call, brother or sister or brother, if you initiate the text, when someone have left you, you have lost power. Now, keep in mind, we're not playing no game with them. That man or woman might be playing a game with you, but you're not playing no game with that person. You, my brother, and you, my sister, you do not need to reach out to a person that leaves you. Don't do it under no circumstance. You don't even have to go for closure. Some people think that you need to go for closure because your mind trying to see, what did I do? It seemed like everything was hunky-dory and going okay, but I need some kind of closure. I know you, brother and sister, you have heard a thing like this. I need some kind of closure so I could make sense of it. No, my brother. No, my sister, you ain't got to get no closure from no man or woman, because like I said earlier, when it comes to a man or woman, if a man or woman decides to leave you for whatever reason and you the innocent party, not the victim now, it's a difference between the innocent party and the victim, and you know you haven't done anything, don't run after no man or no woman, because most of the time it's an ego thing, and that man or woman, whatever they did to cause you to reach out to them, they're going to keep going, taking you through those circles over and over again. And especially if he or she comes back into your life, they're going to always utilize it because they know what buttons to push, okay? It's about manipulation. Now, the biggest question, my brother and sister, the biggest question that you need to understand is this. Do you value yourself? Do you value yourself? And this is where a lot of people get in with problems within his or herself. Because that man or that woman does not value him or herself. You have to value yourself, my brother and sister, because you are important. When you came into this world, you came in with a gift. You was part of God's plan, so you have value. Now, we are going to approach the no contact rule in 4 ways. We're going to do it from 4 different perspectives, okay? And I need for you, my brother and sister, I don't want you to hear me. I would like for you to listen to me. Take it in what I'm about to say. Because most of the time, when a man and woman decide to leave you, it's a lot of time it was about power. Keep that in mind. It's about power and manipulation, okay? Number 1, we're going to talk about the person left you to test you. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. The man or woman left you to test you. Number 2, the person left you to see if the grass is greener. Number 3, the person left you because you violated the rules of the relationship. And the fourth reason is the person is abusing you. So number one, this is how we're going to do it. Number one, the no contact rule, 100% of the time, if you know that you have value, don't reach out to them, okay? Now, number one, the person left you to test you, meaning you are too nice, possibly. There are some of you brothers and sisters, it's nothing wrong with being nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with being nice. But the human, man or woman, have a tendency to not appreciate what he or she has. That's the normal tendency for most people. Most men would say, I want a nice woman. Most women would say, I want a nice man. But when a nice man or woman is in his or her life, a lot of time those people be taken advantage of. You understand? Have you ever heard this before? And sister, I'm not picking on you what I'm about to say. I'm not picking on you, but a lot of ladies say things like this. And I know some of you have heard this phrase before. Nice guys finish last. I know some of you have heard this before. Nice guy finish last. Now, what I'm about to say, it's a true fact, but it doesn't apply to everyone. It does not apply to everyone. But there are some of you brothers out there. You are, how you doing, Sister Brennan? You are extremely giving and nice to a woman, right? You're extremely nice and giving to a woman. But some women would take your niceness for weakness. You understand? Some women would take your niceness for weakness. And on the flip side, it could be that same way too. Some of you sisters, some men would look at you and say, well, she too nice. She ain't got no kind of, how should I say it, no kind of excitement in it. She boring. And some guys, they look at a nice woman as if she's boring. I would rather have a nice, boring woman than a woman that got some spark and like to be out there in the streets. You understand? That's what I would prefer for myself. But some people, they would test you, my brothers. They would test you, my sister, because he or she think you're so nice. They're not used to a person saying no. Sometimes, my brother and sister, you want to please your mate, but sometimes you can't please him or her all the time. Meaning you can't say yes all the time. And this is not no game. It's just like a child sometimes. If you give your child everything he or she wants, what does that you're not preparing your child for the future. You know what I mean? You got to learn to say no sometimes. Especially some of you brothers, you don't want to be caught, my brothers, being looked at as a yes man. Or some of you married brothers out there, you let your wives run you. Brother, you should not let your wife run you. Because some of you brothers believe in this philosophy. How you doing, Sister Jackal? Some of you brothers believe in this philosophy. Happy wife, happy life. That's a saying out there in the world. Happy wife, happy life. No. It's not about happy wife, happy life. It's about pleasing the Lord first. If you please the Lord first, sometimes you're going to go against the grain and your wife is not going to like it. Sister Monica said that the ex told me I was too nice. He told it to me for granted. He took them. That's what yes, Sister Monica. So you see kind of what I'm talking about. Some men, they just like Sister Monica saying what I just mentioned. Some people, they don't want a real nice. They're not saying that you're supposed to be nasty to them, but sometimes, my brother and sister, you have to say no. And even some grown people, men and women, they will pout, but they will get over it. Like in my relationship right now. Cinderella, I look at Cinderella, first of all, to meet her needs first. Her wants come second. Her wants with me never come first. You understand? Her wants never come first. I have to meet her needs first, then her wants secondly. Now, I will meet some of her wants, but I'm not going to go into debt meeting her wants. I'm not going to go broke getting her wants. If I'm going to go broke, it's going to be because of a need. It's not going to be because of a want. You see, brothers, you can't be a yes man. You can't be a yes man. You got to be a man. Even Jesus. Jesus don't give us everything we want. Jesus, sometimes he will give us what we want instantly. Sometimes he won't give it to us instantly. Sometimes he might say, wait. Other times he might say, I got something better. And then sometimes Jesus will say a flat no. As a matter of fact, when Paul was going through some stuff, Paul asked the Lord 3 times, whatever he was going through, Paul asked the Lord 3 times to remove it. And you know what the Lord said? My grace is sufficient for you. For where you are weak, I'm strong. So whatever Paul was going through, he wanted it removed. But the Lord Jesus said, no, I'm not going to do it. That doesn't mean that the Lord were cruel or nothing like that. It just meant the Lord had an overall purpose, and Paul identified it, and Paul accepted it. And that's how some of you brothers need to do sometimes. You need to follow after the Lord's footsteps. Number 2, the no contact rule 100% of the time if you know you have value. If that person leaves you, my brother, if that person leaves you, my sister, for the grass is greener. You all remember that movie called Boomerang, right? You remember Eddie Murphy, he was all into, his character name was on there was Marcus, right? And he was into Robin Givens. He was running after Robin Givens. But the Halle Berry character, she was into Marcus, right? But Marcus did not see that Halle Berry was into him for the long run. Compared to Robin Givens, she was for the moment. She was the excitement girl. Robin Givens. Halle Berry was not the excitement girl. She was the ride and die chick. If you all remember that scene in Boomerang, you remember when Eddie went out and he was with Robin Givens all night long. It was a sexual thing, right? Which was temporary, right? He came in the house late that night. When he came in the house late that night, he thought that Halle was asleep, right? She was not asleep. Like most women don't be asleep, brother, when you come in late. They don't be asleep because you think that they sleep, but they don't be asleep. And they know when you ease into the bed and everything, they know it. So we go into another scene. Remember the next morning, Halle Berry, she was up in the kitchen, right? And Eddie came in and they had their little conversation, right? About his thing the previous night. What did Halle Berry tell him? When he told her this, I love you. What did she say? Love? You don't know anything about love. If you love me, love would have brought you home last night. You remember that? So Eddie, like a lot of other men and a lot of other women, they look at you and they think that you would never go nowhere. They underestimate you. So a lot of time, they would want to go out and test whether the grass is greener out there because that man or that woman think that you're not going to go nowhere. You know why? Because they look at you, and that goes back to it seems like you're too nice, and they think that they got you, and they know that they could go out there and experiment and then come back and you're not going to go nowhere. That's what some of them do. But my brother and sister, if a man or a woman want to go out in the streets and deal with someone else at that time, and you have proof, you don't even have to see with your naked eye because human behavior will tell you that. there's a such thing as principles. Principles never change. The principle 1 + 1 always equal what? 2. That principle never change. It never equals 3. The principle is if a man go out there with another woman, if a woman go out there with another man, the principle is he or she did it because he or she wanted to do it. It didn't have anything to do with you. If you're a good man or a good woman, he or she just thought and they took you for granted. They didn't think that you would go nowhere. Why is it some brothers and some sisters, when their mate go out there being with someone else, why do you want to blow up the phone? Why do you want to text him or her? If you notice that it gets so bad, it gets so bad, whereas when you know your mate out there in the street doing something, you call him or her and your call go directly to the voicemail. If you text him or her, it goes straight to the, they see your number. By the way, they see you calling, but they don't want to answer because he or she doing what he or she wants to do. And if you text, he or she see your text. But that's how much they look at you. They don't value you. Some of you brothers and sisters right at this moment, not all of you, you going through something, just what I'm talking about. You know this man or woman has somebody on the outside. Why you want to call him or her? Why you want to text him or her? You go into no contact. And why you going into no contact, since that man or woman does not value you, you have to show him or her that you have value. You need to prepare yourself to move on with your life. Don't ever let a man or don't ever let a woman devalue you or underestimate you, because if you do it, he or she going to keep doing it over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with forgiveness, okay? Nothing wrong with forgiveness, but some people, they just get to the point where they do it to you over and over again. And like I touched on something last night, you could talk to people, you could talk to your family, you could talk to your friend, your co-worker, Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But it comes to a point where you, brother, you sister, you just got to say, look, I'm tired of being tired. I got value. You got to look in the mirror, my brothers and sisters. You got to look in the mirror and see that you have value. Do not contact him or her. Because this is what's going to happen. When you make up your mind, when you cry that last tear, and when you get ready to move. You're going to be emotional because you have invested your feeling and your time into that individual. You're going to hurt. It's better to hurt short range than to hurt long range. You're going to hurt either way. Anytime you spend time with someone and you do a whole lot of things together, because that's time you're investing. Anytime you invest, you was looking for something to come positive on the end. So, but when you invest in your energy, your time, your emotions, and all that kind of stuff into a relationship, you don't want to lose. That's what some people be holding on. You don't want to lose. But sometimes, my brother and sister, you have to count your losses and move on. Everyone that invests on Wall Street don't always make a profit. You hope to make a profit, but sometimes you lose. You understand, my brother and sister? Sometimes you are going to lose. So you got to get that in your mind. Yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But it's better to hurt short range and move on. And when you move on, my brother and sister, let me tell you what most of the time he or she going to do. He or she going to start blowing your phone up. They're going to start texting you because he or she did not think that you had the nerve to move on. But brother and sister, when you make up your mind to move on and he or she try to hold you there, move on. You got to teach him or her a lesson. The lesson is that you have value. You have value. Number 3, the person left you because you violated the rules of the relationship. Now, this is the only time, my brother and sister, this is the only time where you are allowed to contact him or her. This is the only time you are allowed to contact that person. If you knew that you violated the rules of the relationship, there's nothing wrong with doing it. But let me tell you this, brother and sister, if you have violated the rules of your relationship, let me tell you this. That's right, Millie Jackson did have a song out that hurt so bad. Brother and sister, if you violate the rules of the relationship and your mate decide to leave, give him or her time. Give them time. Give them time to think. Give them time to hurt. Why don't rush in when you done messed up? Give them a little time. Because if you give them a little time, they'll be more receptive to listen to you. You understand? He or she will be more inclined to listen to you if you violated one of the rules of the relationship. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, if he or she leave, don't call him, don't text him, give him or her time to process what has happened. That's the only time you put the no contact rule to the side. Number 4, if you are in an abusive relationship, if that person have violated your mental capacity, emotional, and physically, you don't go into no contact with that person. Once you move on, once you decide to move on, if a person purposely hurting you mentally, emotionally, physically, you do not contact that man or woman to ask him or her, why you treat me so bad. Your name, you're not in the group called Club Nouveau, so you ain't no way that you need to ask him or her why you treat me so bad. When a man or woman treats you bad mentally, emotionally, or physically, that man and a woman problem is deeper than just you. That man and a woman have a problem within his or herself. You understand? That man or woman have a problem within his or herself. It's not you all the time. You understand it, my brother and sister? It's not you all the time. So always keep that in mind. It's not you. How you doing, brother? But let me tell you, my brother and sister, when you walk away, it's gonna hurt. Because you got so much history with that person. You're gonna remember the good time that you had with that man or woman. You're gonna remember those good times because everything was not all the way bad. But when a person purposely, you gotta understand that, purposely inflict pain on your mind, your emotion, and sometimes physical, it's going to be hard to walk away. When I'm telling you, my brother and sister, when it comes to no contact, it's nothing easy about this. It's going to hurt one way or the other. Like I said, it's going to be long range, or it's going to be short. But you're going to hurt either way. Velma said, what should the person that was being abused act in their no defense? What is supposed to happen? Okay, Velma, let me see. Velma says, should the person that was being abused act in their no defense? The only defense, Velma, what you do if a man or woman is being abused is, it comes down to, do you have value? You have to look in the mirror and say, do I have value? Do I love myself? Instead of making excuses for that man or the woman, you can't. And that's what some people do. They want to make excuses for their mate for abusing them. You don't make no excuses for nobody that abusing you. Because the Bible clearly say too, when it comes to a husband and wife, it said, you know how you could tell whether a man love his wife? The Bible clearly say, a man that love his wife love himself. And the same thing can apply to a woman that loves herself, love her husband. If a man got some demons on the inside of him, or whatever going on with him, it's going to be reflected on the person that closest to him. And the same thing to a woman too. The same thing is going to happen. If a man love his wife, it's going to be shown because he's going to love her. It starts with the man first, and the same thing for the woman. If that woman loves herself, she's going to love her husband. And another thing too, brothers, so you got to understand this too. And I got to tell you this too, because I'm about to wrap this up. Before I met Cinderella, when I was out there in the dating field, when I was doing my thing, I looked at myself like I had value. There's not one woman, and I'm 59 years old. There's not one woman that could say that I ran after her. If a woman tried to play that power game with me, that mind thing, and then if she wanted to test something out there, no woman could say that I was too nice to her. Most women would say, let me tell you what most women would say about me. Most women would say that I'm stingy. That's what most of them would say. Cinderella won't say it. You know why Cinderella won't say it? Because I'm her husband. So since I'm her husband, I know that I could invest more into her. Just a woman that I was just dating, you could call me stink. I don't care I didn't care what they called me during that time. Because you see, one thing about it, and I told you all about this before, there were 2 incidents where a woman tried to play me. One played me and got some resources out of me, but I learned from that, and I was in college during that time, but I learned about that one. But anyway, there's not one woman, after that one episode when I got really misused, there's not one woman that could say that I ran after her. You know why no woman could say I ran after her? Because I knew this. I knew I had options. I knew it. I knew I have options. Right now, if Cinderella left me today, I know I have options. If I leave her, she'll have options. She's an attractive woman. And she got some good qualities with her. But I'm not gonna run. I won't run after any woman that I would pursue after if I did something wrong. If it was me, if I violate the rules of the relationship, I will pursue. Velma said, husband or stingy, I spend it with my husband because everything probably. Well, you see, what happened in that case, Velma, I hate to say it, sister, but you got involved with the wrong type of guy. Because the Bible say a man that love himself love his wife. And you see, in order for a man to love his wife to his full potential, this man has to have a relationship with God. No man knows how to love a woman how she needs to be loved. No woman knows how to respect a man how he needs to be respected unless he or she has a relationship with the Lord. The Lord clearly said that he is the vine. We are the branches. The Lord Jesus said, you can't do nothing without me. So that man that did you that way, Velma, that man did not have no relationship with the Lord. Because if that man had a relationship with the Lord, he wouldn't even be stingy. You see, he was obligated to you based on the fact he was married to you. He was obligated. He was supposed to be the priest of the home. He was supposed to be the head and leader of the home. He was supposed to provide and protect as the husband, not the boyfriend. So if he was your husband, he just didn't do what he was supposed to do. And that, in that statement right there, that tells me that he didn't have no relationship with the Lord. He might have knew about the Lord, but he didn't know him. It's a difference between knowing and knowing about. He knew about the Lord, but he didn't know him. Because if he knew the Lord, he wouldn't have been like that. But back to the stingy part. Okay, Velma said he was a preacher and an elder in the church. And you know what? In the church, there are some that go around wolf in sheep clothing too, Velma. Wolves in sheep clothing. It's like that. You have some legitimate sheeps, and then you have some that wolves, but they put that sheepskin over them, and you could tell it. You know, they wolves on the inside, and that means they character on the inside. That's what was coming out. So he was fronting. That's what he was doing. He was fronting. But you see, you have to understand it, my brother and sister. Do you have value? You got to ask yourself, do you have value? If you have value, you can apply this principle, the no contact rule. It works 100% of the time. It's not that you playing no game against that person. It's that because you know that you have value and you have option. My brother and sister today, if you are in a relationship and that person does not value you and you value yourself, believe me, you have options. Some of you sisters, let me tell you this. Some of you sisters, some of you have been told by men that you are fat, you ugly, you this, you that. But you know what? You weren't fat and ugly when they first started talking to you. A lot of men, they talk to you that to break you, sisters. They want to break you. Men know that you're emotional. They want to break you. And guess what? There are some men out there that will be attracted to you. As a matter of fact, the right man might be out there. You're with the wrong man. You're with the wrong man, sister. Some men would do that to break you. And then on the flip side, there are some women, brother, that would talk to you like you're a boy. They would tell you all kinds of stuff to make you feel small. But guess what, brother? You have to value yourself. And you have options. That's what men and women don't understand. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, I said this. And this is exactly what I said. I said, 1 Peter chapter 5:7. Let all your worries, leave all your worries with him. That's the Lord. Because he cares for you. That's the number one thing you have to do. You have to have a relationship with the Lord. Leave all your worries with him because he cares for you. Jesus cares for you than anybody else. Any human, any man or any woman. So you got to make sure your relationship with the Lord together first and foremost. That's your number one priority. That's 1 Peter chapter 5:7. And then the next thing I told you, my brothers and sisters, but I just elaborate on a little bit now. I told you all this, that you have I told you this. Before I said the option part, I said, no, don't let no man or woman think that the world revolves around him or her. Don't let no one, because in my relationship with my wife, I love my wife, but my world don't rotate around her. And her world doesn't rotate around me. You understand? My world rotates around the Lord, even though I'm imperfect. Her world rotates around the Lord, even though she's imperfect. That's why I said earlier. If she decides to walk away from me, it will sting. It would sting. If she decided to walk away from me right now, and I don't care if Ann one of you tell her, I don't care. Because I have told her. And we would just serious about it. If she decided to just walk away from me and I didn't do anything, will I call her? Will I text her? Will I go to wherever she live at or whatever? No, I will not. It will hurt, but I'll hurt short range, but I can recover. Because guess what? If she decided to leave and I didn't, if I didn't do nothing stupid to push her out there, that's on her. Because I have options. I will have another option. There's other women out there. I won't look for no woman just like her because every woman is different. So I cannot go looking for no carbon copy of Cinderella. And like if I leave her, she cannot go outside looking for, wait for a carbon copy of me. That's how some people get in the wrong relationship. You trying to look for somebody to replace the person that you just left, and a lot of time it'd be worse. Okay, Velma said, can I ask a question, please? Yes, Velma. What is that, Velma? What is your question, sister? Yes, Velma, what is your question? So we can get out of here. Go ahead and put it up there so this could be the last, go ahead, Velma. So we can kind of like pull away. It's 8:18 p.m. So we can go and get out here. I'm waiting, Velma. But anyway, my brother and sister, while Velma get her question together, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of this broadcast. And I hope that you all have a good week going into, next week, because you could actually been doing something tonight, but I hope that the discussion, let me see. Know that you are your own person. Do we as mates, should we tolerate disrespect? No. You should not tolerate disrespect, Velma. That's why I said you have value. You have value. You allow disrespect. You don't have to allow disrespect. If he's in your presence, you are allowing him to disrespect you. If you have in contact with him, you are allowing him to disrespect you. You have a choice. You have to make a decision, and you're going to have to go to no contact. Like I keep saying this, it's going to hurt because you got a soul tie to him, not soulmate, a soul tie to him. Since you have a soul tie to him, it got to be broken. And the only way, you got to stop talking to him. You can't be texting him, and you cannot, above all things, you can't have sex with him, because if you have sex with him, if you have all these cards and they breaking, the card breaking about communication, you break that card. You break that card about that card to spend time, it broke. Texting, it broke. The sex part, it broke. But if you ever do any of those things, start contacting, what's going to happen, it's going to start wedging back together. And you start talking back to him, you're going to start wedging back. Texting, wedging back. Spending time wedging back. And especially sex, wedging back. You're going to be hurt more, cause he know right now, he know what buttons to push on you. He know those buttons. You got to show this guy something. You got to show him something. You got to show him. Because based on last night when we was talking, he's the kind of guy that likes the grass is greener. He likes the grass is greener. He know that you ain't going nowhere. To tell you the truth, Velma, in his mind, you're not going nowhere. So that's why he doing it. He know that you ain't going nowhere. He know what buttons to push. He know you're going to do all that talking. He know that you might say, I'm tired of this. If you do this to me again, I'm gone. And then when he do it and you don't follow what you say, he don't respect your word. He doesn't respect your word. He think that you're going to always be there. That's what he think. He think that you're going to always be there because you keep allowing him to do that to you. You're going to have to make a decision, Velma. You're going to have to come to the point where you say, I'm tired of being tired. Like I said, it's going to hurt. You got a choice to make. You either hurt temporary or you're going to hurt long term. That's the decision you got to make. Hurt short term or hurt long term. That's a decision you're going to have to make. Again, 1 Peter chapter 5:7. Leave all your worries with him because he cares for you. Okay, Velma said, true, Brother Tony, I have this problem with everyone, not just him. Okay, it's the same principle, even if it's not him. If it's someone else, you have value, Velma. You got value. You got to make that decision, short term or long term. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. Thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast tonight. I hope that you all have a good week. I really, really do. Lord willing, I will be here tomorrow. Thank you so much, brothers. Thank you so much, sisters. Have a good night. Peace out.